to an episode of Todd Talks. When Todd talks, people listen. Hopefully. I am here today on the day after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a good one. To discuss the upcoming death battle. Literally love this shirt. Between Batman Beyond and Spider-Man 2099, or as we like to call them, the future versions of Batman and Spider-Man. If you don't recall, Batman and Spider-Man had one of the original death battles. It was one of the highly requested one. It's one that fans have talked about for a long time, and they gave a very good and very logical death battle as to why Spider-Man, spoilers, would win. And it was good. But now, the future is here, and the new incarnations are going to get to fight. Now, it's very important to state that these two characters are not like their predecessors. That's a good word for it. Predecessors. They are entirely different people. They are entirely different skill sets in some ways, and their powers and abilities, let's just say, surpass the others in certain aspects. So, let's get started with Terry McGinnis, aka the Batman Beyond. So Terry McGinnis was just a regular kid living in Neo-Gotham decades after the Batman's reign in Gotham. Batman is no more. And he was just a regular kid trying to get through school, trying to live his life, when his dad unfortunately found a conspiracy going on in Wayne Powers. Yes, Wayne Powers, one of the biggest companies in the country. They were developing a bioweapon, and Terry's dad found out about it. He got data on it, and so Powers had him killed. And Terry found out about this. Well, around this time, Terry was fighting off a group of Jokers, met Bruce Wayne, who was having a medical issue after fighting some Jokers with him, because, you know, Batman. And upon helping him, he accidentally discovers the Batcave. So when he found out about what Powers was doing, he gave the disc to Bruce. He tried to get him to do something about it. Bruce decided to do the human thing and try and go through proper channels, give it to Commissioner Gordon, Barbara, not Jim. And so Terry decided, screw that. So he steals the bat suit, goes off to try and get revenge on Powers. He does get revenge on the guy who did kill his father, and then turns Powers into Blight, but that's another story entirely. After which, Bruce accepts that, you know, it's time for another Batman to, you know, step up into the light, and so Terry becomes the Batman Beyond. Now, as stated before, Terry is not Bruce Wayne. And by that I mean that, remember, Bruce went through rigorous training to become the Batman. He mastered every single fighting style. He trained his mind to be incredibly brilliant and knowledgeable in all aspects. Terry doesn't really have that. But he does have street smarts. He learned to fight before he met Bruce. And then, as time went on, he kept training with Bruce, learned more skills, became a better fighter, and stated by the end, if you remember the Justice League episode Epilogue, he basically becomes as good as Bruce Wayne was in his prime. Even Amanda Waller acknowledges that, though she says that Bruce is still smarter, though Terry has been proven to be actually pretty good. And when it comes to science, he wanted to be a physician, of all things. And so, yeah. But he's learned. He has adapted on the fly, and as a recent comic noted, you're gonna have to. He said Bruce told Terry, "You got to do it on guts and guile," and that's what he does, and he does it very, very well. Mainly because he's got a futuristic bat suit, one that has been updated throughout the series and throughout the comics, which I'll be talking about later. This suit has been, well, let's call it custom made for the future, because it has rocket boots, it has glider wings, which actually retract instead of just being a cape. No capes! He's got batarangs in his suit where he can just fire them or summon them out of the blink of an eye. On the blink of an eye. Out of the blink of an eye? Whatever. His suit can turn invisible. It has an electrical defense and offensive capability. He can fire bombs, he can fire smoke pellets. He is able to, through the tips of his fingers, hear conversations inside of the building from far away. All he has to do is point it. His cowl has numerous forms of vision, including night vision, electromagnetic vision, heat vision, etc. So he can track targets should they be trying to hide from him or get good recon. He can cling to buildings, and his suit, as stated in the Death Battle preview, amplifies his strength by 10, which is not inconsiderable because Terry is actually a very toned guy. He was a wrestler, he was very active in gym, and he was later trained to be more like a gymnast, so that he could be as agile as he was strong. So Terry's got moves. He is so fast he can actually dodge bullets, and we're talking like futuristic laser bullets, that kind of thing. He dodged them from close range. He is able to keep his composure and get out of situations when it seems like he's going to die. I remember one case. He was falling off of a several-story building. He jumped onto a pillar that was falling with him, used it to stop his momentum, and then jump off, land on his feet. Totally fine, because that's what Terry does. Now, Terry has fought a lot of future versions of classic Batman characters. He's fought numerous Jokers, which is a street game that models the stuff out of Jokers, including one time literally facing like thousands of them. It was called the Night of the Jokers, and it was easily one of the most brutal arcs in Batman history. But he did a lot. He's fought a pseudo version of Bane. Long story. He has fought Mr. Freeze. He has fought Blight, who is a literal radiation being. He's fought. Let's just say he's fought a lot. Okay, if there's one thing that between the comics and the cartoons, which remember the cartoon was 3 seasons and the comic is still ongoing, he's faced a lot of people. He's faced assassins with swords that were sharpened by lasers, so they could cut a molecule. Think about that. He's fought in thugs. He's fought in robots. He's fought in AIs. He's fought in a lot. But a key thing here is he's never fought alone. Okay, he's almost never fought alone, because in his cowl is a walkie-talkie, for lack of a better term, that links directly to the Batcave, and his cowl also has cameras through his eyepieces that allow Bruce Wayne to guide Terry on his missions, which is very important because Bruce Wayne is Batman. So he has the experience that Terry sometimes lacks. In one instance, Terry was psychically rendered blind. Long story. And he's like, Bruce, I can't see. And he goes, so let me... Oh, wait, I did Batman voice. So let me see for you. That was a terrible Batman voice. I got to work on it now. I'm sorry. But so he was able to defeat a, let's just call him a psychic man, without using his eyes, because he trusted Bruce enough to let him guide him. Bruce is invaluable with his own knowledge. Of course, he's gained over the years and now decades, because it's been a while. But he is an invaluable resource for Terry. That being said, Batman Beyond is obviously not invincible. In fact, a lot of the show and even the comics have made it to where this suit has been proven to be flawed. There have been numerous times where it has been ripped open, but it has been updated since then. In one instance, it was hacked by a very powerful AI, which literally controlled the entire suit, even overriding a paralyzation feature, which made it so that the user couldn't move. The AI overrode that, but again, overridden. Terry has been pinned under objects and unable to lift them because they were heavy enough. He's always been frozen. His batarangs have a limit. Like, there's only so much he can summon. It does have its faults, but what Batman Beyond is all about is overcoming those faults and being better. It has literally upgraded. The technology was technically 20 years old when Terry got it, but by the time the end of this series and now in the comics, the suit has since been upgraded to a great extent. Let's just put it that way. So he is very worthy of the title Batman. Okay, now Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, another person who had no intention of being a superhero, but was a genius and was trying to figure out how to recreate the original Spider-Man, who had obviously since been long dead. During an experiment gone wrong, he accidentally rewrote half his DNA, so now he has the DNA of a spider. And realizing his powers, he decided to become the Spider-Man of 2099. And he has a lot of things that make him very, very special. First off, again, not Peter Parker. If you didn't believe me, did you not hear the part where I said half his DNA is a spider? Like, that's honestly a very key part here, because he has fangs, which actually secrete venom. He has talons, which can retract, which is really creepy when you think about it. His webbing is natural. Like, it's all, if you remember like the original Spider-Man movies, like the Sam Raimi movies where they made it to where like it was in his skin, it's exactly like that. Uh, and comic fans will know that his webbing is not real in the comics. Peter Parker's isn't. I think they might have taken that from Miguel. It might have just been easier. I don't know. Anyway, but his webbing is real, and his suit was made, ironically, with fibers created by Reed Richards. So his suit is very powerful, and of course, because he has spider DNA, his natural strength, speed, agility is now that of a spider, which is now several times greater than a human. It's proportionate. So he has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman durability, superhuman senses, though he does not have the spider sense. There's been some dispute about whether the video games which gave him a spider sense, I believe it was a Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions, whether those would count into this. It will not. He does not have spider sense in the comics, and that is the overriding factor here. There you go. But he has accelerated vision. He has accelerated hearing, so that he can basically perceive just like a spider sense would, with the exception of it won't warn him of danger. It'll just let him see or hear the danger that's around him. Also, his suit can glide, though it cannot. Okay, I read it can fly, but then I read it like it can't. So it's let's just say he flies for the benefit of the doubt. But more than often he glides on the winds, kind of like Gargoyle, Goliath. There you go. So he's got that going for him. And though he's not technically trained in fighting, he has adapted himself to where he can, battle with the best of them and then some. Yeah. And his suit is, I found this really cool. And it's not surprising because it's Reed Richards. The suit was literally designed so it could not be shredded. It will not tear under any circumstances. Now, it doesn't mean Miguel can't get hurt, and specifically say that he can in numerous ways. But the question is, how does he get hurt? Well, it's about impact. It's about blast force and everything, which brings it to another interesting factor. Sorry, he can heal. Now, he doesn't have a healing factor. That's very important here. He does not have a healing factor, but he can heal several times greater, faster than a human. So, like a cut could heal in minutes, where it would have taken hours to clot or whatever. But obviously, the more sustainable an injury, he needs more time. Now, the other interesting thing about Miguel is that he has an AI named Lila, who we know will be in the death battle, just like Bruce Wayne will be as well. Lila is an AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, who basically helps Miguel in as many ways as she can. She has been known to hack computers. I saw a couple comic panels about this. She has a registry of all of Spider-Man's villains, so he can be aware of what's going on. She is tapped into information networks. She can sense people via their. I actually didn't read how she senses them, but she senses them. She can help Miguel detect people before he can. So in a way, she's kind of like a spider sense. In a way. She helps record information. She's a very useful asset for Miguel. Now, this is the future. There are futuristic versions of all the Marvel heroes and villains, or a good chunk of them, and he's beaten a lot of them. He's beaten Hulk 2099 with his Venom bite, which is very impressive. He's KO'd a lot of other people by that bite as well. He has traveled through time to actually tag team with the original Spider-Man, and I don't mean the video game. I mean like the actual comics. He's beaten the Hobgoblin of 2099. He's beaten Iron Man of 2099. He's earned his spot. He is literally one of the most famous versions of Spider-Man, not unlike what Batman Beyond was for Batman. Okay, I would say Batman Beyond's a little more popular, but that's just me. And no, that's not my DC pride. It's a little DC pride movie. Miguel has proven himself. He's gotten numerous suits over the years, which I'll be getting into. He has time traveled. He's fought villains. He's become a very respectable member of the Spider-Man family, and rightfully so. So, Question now is, who wins? This is another situation where I have to subdue my fanboy pride. I'm trying not to make another Venom Bane mistake. We all know what happened there. Yeah, because I love Batman Beyond. I grew up on Batman Beyond. And to be fair, even though I knew of Spider-Man 2099, I don't know enough about him. Okay, the Screw Attack forums have been great this time, providing me with information and all that. But I don't know if I know enough about him to truly pick against him. I'm a little on the fence still. Because here's the thing. If we're talking about pure stats, I would say Miguel has the advantages in strength, speed, agility because of his spider DNA, and senses because of his accelerated vision and hearing. But Miguel is not a trained fighter, at least not to the extent that I have seen. Terry was trained by Batman. He was constantly trained by Batman. And again, if you go back to Epilogue, he was able to do things outside of the suit that he could not do in the beginning of the series with the suit. He's that good now. Also, intelligence. Miguel is easily smarter than Terry because he's even before the spider DNA, he was a genius. So, yeah. Now, if we're talking about suits, this one's a little tough because both were created to withstand blast force, lasers, fire, that kind of thing. Batman was once bitten by what did they call them? Splicers. That was it. A splicer named Hyena, and it didn't penetrate the suit. So, would Miguel's spider bite penetrate the suit? I don't think so. If for no other reason than the villain Ink, which was literally an ink monster, she couldn't penetrate the suit, so she had to go through his mouth to try and drown him in her ink, which is disgusting. Okay, but then you can say, well, what about Miguel? Isn't it the same thing? Yeah, it kind of is. They both have, the very powerful suits that have expanded their abilities even more, which is why I'm pretty sure Miguel can fly, because a later suit had anti-graviton, I think it was called, and allows him to fly instead of just gliding. So that's pretty cool. So where does it all boil down to? This is where it gets complicated because it's really hard. Okay, it's really hard because Terry has Batman on his side. And Batman, especially by this time, has fought, on his own with the Justice League, because this is continuity. With the Justice League, he's fought against alien invasions and all of that. He's seen what's out there, and he has something in his mind for whatever, comes his way. So, and he could pass that information on to Terry. Now, Miguel has Lila, but, okay, first of all, if you haven't read what happened to Lila, yeah, she crazy, okay? She's bat crap crazy. She eventually goes insane, tries to kill Miguel's fiance and him because she can. And again, much like Ultron in the Avengers film, it's all because she went on the internet. Yeah. So if I'm giving the edge to Terry on that one because his partner is, I would say, a little more valuable in the strategic run, whereas Lila is better in the immediate, short term. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. That kind of thing because of her senses. I'm really struggling now because the fanboy pride is boiling up in me. I must power on. Experience-wise, I think they're both the same. They both face futuristic villains. They've faced, all these kinds of things. So where does it boil down to? In Batman Beyond comics, the recent comic, the one that we know that they are citing for this death battle, Ben has already said that. Batman gets a suit that has an Alfred AI. Okay? This AI is programmed to win. Unintentionally. It was programmed to win. So what will happen is the AI will actually short out Batman's nervous system, which controls where your pain goes, and make it so you will keep fighting until you win. And because of this suit, Batman basically beat Damian Wayne in his prime. Basically, it's a little more complicated than that, but yeah, it's a thing. Because even though Damian was literally slicing the suit and Terry in half, the AI wouldn't let him lose, and so yeah. And And of course, now this is only a last resort kind of thing, but if you're losing a fight, um, dang it, I'm gonna go fanboy. It's not fair. I want to be fair, but I can't. Now as for Miguel, his intelligence is vast, and because of his spider DNA, he definitely can kill Terry. It's honestly not even a question, but the question is, will he end this death battle? And I'm fanboying so hard. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to do it. I'm picking Batman Beyond. But I'm going to use some logic to it, because unlike Bane, where I literally just picked him out of because of my loyalty to DC. But again, I have loyalty to Marvel. I do. Um, I have to pick Batman Beyond, if for no other reason than that AI, because that suit with the AI, which again we know is going to be in the death battle, it's just not going to be visible, because you're using the classic suit sprites. I do believe that AI plus Bruce's feedback will be able to overwhelm Miguel. I don't know how he'll kill him. I really have no clue, but I think Terry's gonna pull it off and get Batman back in the win column. Yeah, baby. So with that, I am ending this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is gonna win the battle of future Batman versus future Spider-Man? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to stay tuned for when the episode comes out. I will be making my reaction video soon after, so that hopefully I can bask in the glory of Batman Beyond and not weep because once again I picked against Spider-Man characters. Gosh dang it. Alright, so I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I will see you around.